Welcome in, everybody. We are your hosts, Bull, P, and Timmy G, and this is the Bluechip Breakdown. And we are just here to talk about Arkansas versus Tennessee. We were just talking off air about Mizzou going down right now at 17-0, heading into halftime. And we did get a little bit of a late start today because we had to get done with my nephew's football game and all that good stuff. So we just wanted to make sure that we could do a full show for everybody, but I want to get everybody's thoughts. I just want to get, I want to see how everybody's feeling about this game. And I'm going to start off with you, P, because we haven't heard from you in a good little minute.
Man, I feel pretty good about it, man. We've both been watching a lot of film of these guys, and I think overall this very well may be probably the best team we've played just from top to bottom all year. I think they're a little better than Oklahoma because their offense is a little bit better. I think as a team, man, they're just solid. Like, they're a very solid team. They don't do anything great, but they're not terrible anywhere either. Really no huge weaknesses. I think they have a really good D-line. A lot of big body guys, not elite pass rushers up there, but guys that can at least hold the point and can do a pretty good job in the run game. Linebackers float to the ball, play well. And I think their secondary is, you don't see them getting beat a ton. I think they're pretty sound. I have seen some teams watching the film, like receivers kind of get open a little bit late or down the field, but a lot of times quarterbacks are missing them. I think that we will have some big plays in this game. I do think we'll get behind them and take top off and get a few big touchdowns, maybe even early in this game. But overall, man, I think they're really solid on defense. I think it might be a little tough sledding early for us, but I think we'll just kind of stick it out and we'll kind of be grinding them out, and we'll look up and we'll have 4 or 5 touchdowns on the board, probably close to midway through the third quarter. We'll have 4 or 5 touchdowns on the board. And then I think offensively, man, they don't do a ton. I think you're gonna see a lot of quick game. Well, not quick game, but a lot of like little 5-yard hitches, little 10-yard stop routes, and then maybe like a 3-step drop, deep ball. But nothing really scares you outside of the quarterback. The quarterback being able to scramble, get out of the pocket. We know, hey, 6'6", 220, whatever he is, athletic guy, and hey, he can scramble and he can hit the deep balls down the field too. So it's gonna be I think a decent test for our secondary, which to this point hasn't truly been tested because no one's had time. No quarterback's had time to really sit back, pat the ball, throw it. It's getting out pretty quick. But I do think our coverage has been good. But I think we'll really see today how good are we really in coverage, because I think he will escape contain a couple of times and probably try to push it down the field. Are we in position or not? Can we make a play against those big 6'5", 6'6", 6'7" receivers they have out there in the perimeter? But I think, nothing really scares you. I think we should shut them down defensively. I don't see his guys. Honestly, I don't see them getting to the end zone. I don't. So, I think we'll be fine today. It should be another dominant win for us. But I think this will be our first true test. And if we dominate these guys, then I don't think you can keep saying they don't play anybody. This is a solid team. We dominate them the way we should. I feel pretty good about this team.
All right, so Timmy G, what do you think about it?
I'm excited for the game. I'm not nervous in the slightest. Let me just say that. I think the guys are going to take care of business. I think Fayetteville is going to be loud. It's going to be rowdy. It's going to be we can call Oklahoma the first SEC road game, which technically it was, but Fayetteville is going to be a different animal. Like that place is going to be rowdier. It's going to be a little wilder. It's a 7:00 game. There are a lot of woo pig suey going to be going on down there pregame. So they're going to be feeling right. But I'm not concerned. Like P said, and like you heard me say earlier this week, I've seen too many wide receivers get open behind their DBs that I think Nico will take advantage of that. They got some really big guys on the D line. But I think over the course of the game, if we can, establish first downs and get some tempo going, it's really going to be hard on those guys. Yeah. And defensive line, obviously the threat is the quarterback, right? Yeah. So he's going to be a challenge. Just have to set the edge and play smart. And I'm sure Tim Banks, they've had 2 weeks to prep for this game. Yeah. I guarantee you Banks has a plan. Yeah. So, I think they'll go out there and hopefully they'll execute that and be a good game.
Yep.
Yeah, great take.
Absolutely. So I'm looking. I'm watching this A&M game.
Yeah,
they get scored again. This is about to be a blowout. So
it's 24-0.
It's about to be once they kick this field goal.
Man,
yeah.
Bad Missouri ball club there.
Yeah. Bye-bye, frauds.
Yep, see ya.
Man, I wish
Vandy.
I wish Vandy could have beat him in that double overtime game.
I know,
man.
Man, that would have been the icing on the cake, man.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that would be
great.
I know you would have loved that.
Yeah,
would have been absolutely perfect. But so I feel good about this game. Really, it's just all going to be about trying to stop Taylor Green because he can do so many different things. And I feel like most people who I've heard talk about this game, they're very confident that Tennessee is going to win, and I think rightfully so. But at the same time, whenever you have a quarterback that can operate like Taylor can, that's 6'6", 230 pounds, he can throw the ball. I mean, he can make all the throws. He doesn't always make them, but he's capable of doing that. He can use his legs. I mean, he can really break this game open. And I just kind of feel like some people are just looking at Arkansas's record and all of that type of stuff, but at the same time, you got to look at, how they won or how they lost and things like that. And I mean, they've been close in every single game. And I think that they are a real SEC team. I think that they could threaten us. And
let me throw something in on that. You said,
go ahead.
You said he can break it open. I think he can break it open either way. Right.
Yeah.
If you get pressure on, he's been shown not to make great decisions, and is turnover prone. You're right. I mean, he could swing the game one way, or this could go very, very bad for them if they can get him nervous and put some pressure on him. It could get nasty and nasty fast.
100%.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the main thing is just to try to get some pressure on them. Right here, I'm just going to kind of break down their read option game. They're going to read one player that's going to be unblocked. Typically, it's going to be that end. If he goes inside, the play goes back to the outside. If he goes outside, comes back to the inside. And you can see that whether it's handed off to the running back or right here, you're going to see Taylor keep it. If you're not disciplined, then they can kill you, right? So Taylor keeps it here, and he's going to break contain on this defense. Now, this is versus Arkansas Pine Bluff, but look at the speed, man. That's 20 or 30 yards. So, I mean, just understanding that it puts a whole lot of strain on this one. This is a little bit of a wrinkle. Offensive tackle is going to go out and block that in. They're leaving a defensive tackle unblocked, and boom, he bites down. Look at that. You know what I'm saying? So they do a lot of different things with this read option game. They run it more than any other, running scheme in their offense, and they do it, I think, very well. Now, on this play, you're going to see part of the way that you can stop that you can stop it. That first in bites down hard, and now, Taylor maybe could have tried to take it to the outside, but they used the linebacker to come back as the outside player, and that play gets stopped because no one has anywhere to go. On this one, it's going to be the same thing that we saw on one of the previous ones where the tackle is going to be blocking the end, and they're going to be reading that other tackle. Now we've got a nickel player coming down, and he's the new edge guy. He's able to make a stop right here very close to the line of scrimmage. Now, right here, this dude, playing it in, I think that's Nick Scorton. Watch the way that he plays this. This is as good as you can do it. I think Tennessee has several ends that can play it just like this, squeeze down on their run, but then at the same time, be able to come out and make a tackle on Taylor Green. I think that we're going to have to use a lot of different people to try to stop this option game. But if we can stop that, I think first and foremost, Tennessee is going to be in a great position to not just win this game, but I think blow it wide open. So what do y'all think? Are there any other players on their offense that kind of scares you? Obviously they've got number 2. I think his name is Armstrong, 6'4", 200 pounds. He's a really good, he's a really fast guy. I think he's tough. He's physical. He runs really nice routes. But, what do y'all think about just like their passing game? Do y'all have any, thoughts about that, or is there anything that just kind of scares you?
Well, I'll say this. I mean, first of all, man, that's a great cut up there. I mean, beautiful. Really give these guys a look at what these guys are going to be doing, because I think people think RPO, they think it's just a simple, just if he crashes, I'm keeping it or not. But you see that they'll switch up who they're reading or who they're going to leave unblocked. And that can kind of cause some confusion with your D-line, with your linebackers, just with who's fitting and who's doing what. So to your point earlier, Timmy G, Tim Banks having an extra week to prepare and put in a game plan. I mean, I feel very confident that the game plan we have is going to be, beautiful. I think we should shut it down. But other players outside the quarterback, not a ton. They do have a little number 6 who's like a little slot receiver. I think he's their fastest guy. I saw I believe it was against A&M, they hit a whole lot of little what do you call them, jet sweeps or little touch passes, whatever. They were hitting those around the end of the line, and they had success with that. And I think that's a play that's kind of given us some trouble in the past if we're not like anticipating it. That can get her on the edge and just pick up chunk plays that way on us. But outside of that, man, no one really scares him, man. I think their tight ends are, just man. I think, the running backs. Now, 22 is a pretty decent player, but he doesn't scare me. And then the receivers, nothing really there. So, like I said, nothing really scares you. And as far as their pass game, man, I think it's a lot of, 1, 2, 3 hitch or 1, 2, 3 curl, and then I'll throw it up deep every now and then. It's really just whenever he breaks contain. Oh, and that number 4, forget about him. I think he might be the fastest guy. So, he's a receiver, speed guy. But nothing that we shouldn't be able to handle.
Well, shoot. So look, so five is the one. He's like 6'7". He might be one. He's fast. I think all of their guys have good speed. This is a real SEC team. Timmy G, I think that you said it perfectly. This is kind of, and it's not just about the stadium and all of that, but I think that this team from top to bottom, it's going to be a lot more like what we thought OU should have been, right? They're actually going to be that. They've got really good players in a lot of different spots. But to your point, P, I do think that we should be okay. We'll take a look at some more cut-ups here in just a second. But Timmy G, what are you seeing out of their passing game that maybe scares you some?
I don't see anything that really scares me. I do think it's going to be probably one of the we will get tested in the secondary this week, right? Like that's a thing. They've got some pretty big wide receivers, man. I misspoke earlier on our Wednesday stream. I called Tesla a tight end. He's a receiver. That dude looks big for a receiver, man. Yeah. I thought, oh, that's got to be a tight end first time I saw him, but I was like, oh, wow, he's a receiver. Yeah. They've got some pretty big guys, man. It's going to be an interesting matchup. But overall, I think, look, I just think our defensive line is going to carry the day in the end. But it's going to be interesting. They don't have anything that really scares me, just because I have total confidence in our guys this week.
Yeah,
I agree
for sure.
I agree.
Yeah, I think that probably the biggest thing with their passing game is going to be to again contain Taylor Green, and we are going to bring this thing all the way back. So you can see just on all of these clips, you're just going to be seeing Taylor Green escaping out and just making things happen. You know what I mean? He's got really, really good straight line speed. He most of the time likes to go to his right, but I have seen him kind of come back to his left too. But once he gets out into the open field, okay, we have got to wrap up. And also, man, if you can get your hands on him, you have to bring him down. And sometimes, man, with those guys that are rushing them and stuff, they're going to try to kill him. You don't really need to try to do that. Just hold on to him because we don't need for him to break loose. And I think that this, again, this is where you start to get a little bit more concerned at, because you can't play that much man-to-man coverage. You got to play zone. You don't want people's backs turned to them. All of that type of stuff. You got to be careful with how you're blitzing on some of these. You see that the guys are actually getting a nice rush, but they're getting too far up the field. So pass rush lanes and not getting too far up the field to open up some of those lanes for Taylor. That's going to be critical in this game. But I also want to take a look right here at how he can look whenever he does have time. This is something else. So that's one of those rollout plays. They like to do a whole lot of boots. You'll see several 5-7 step drops with max protection, trying to give him that extra time. And I think these wide receivers do a great job just of fighting to get open. Look at that pass. Okay, this dude he does have good arm talent, but again, it's just not very consistent. So you have to make sure. And then on this one, this is crazy. He's going to roll out to his left, and look at this throw. They don't end up catching it, but this is why if you get close to him, you got to wrap him up. And our secondary pieces have got to stay in coverage down the field. You cannot come off of your man. You've got to pretty much just hope that that the front 7 players can come up and can make those stops for you, because again, man, and I'm going to keep on saying it, if you let this man do it, he can absolutely take over this football game. I'm not saying that to scare nobody. It's not, it's not nothing that I don't think that the team already understands, but watch out for him. That is going to be the biggest thing, because he does have all of the tools necessary to definitely play upset guy today. Mm-hmm. But So go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say but to Tim and G's point too, like that last clip, I mean, fadeaway jumper off his back foot, back across his body, across the middle of the field. I think we're going to get several picks today, and I think that's really going to break the game wide open.
Yeah,
well, I hope you're right.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can definitely see that. Tennessee runs a whole lot of cover 3 and cover 4. It'll be interesting to see exactly what we do in this game, but we're gonna get pressure on them. Like if you look at Arkansas's offensive line, yeah, it's probably going to be the best that we've seen up to this point in the season. But man, they got some issues. I think that their right tackle has given up like 21 pressures on the season. That's more than all of our starters combined.
Is that 54?
Yeah.
Yeah, he pops out on film in a bad way.
That's not where you want to be weak against Tennessee.
Right.
You don't want to be weak at the tackle versus Tennessee, man. Yeah. Like and it's not just Pierce. Like they've got so many guys that are contributing this year. And I think that's one reason why Pierce isn't having such a great year is just there's so much on there. And not only that, every offensive coordinator has to try to formulate a plan for Pierce, right? So they're doing things, and also I think stuff like that gets in your head. If you think that you should be better, sometimes you try too hard, and sometimes you just gotta let the game come to you, man. Just play like you play, and everything's going to be fine.
And that's one thing I'll say too, real quick about Pierce is like if you watch him on film, like you can tell that at least to this point he has stayed true to like the scheme. Like you can tell there's times if the quarterback sticks the ball in the running back's belly, instead of Pierce rushing, he's playing the run until he sees it's a pass. So he's still doing his job. He's still being team first guy. So I mean, I'm very pleased with what he's doing so far.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, that was one of the shots everybody had about, oh, well, yeah, he's not good against the run. He's been pretty damn good against the run.
He's been really good this year.
Now, Joshua Josephs has been a dog against the run this year. What was that one PFF grade he had? 99.7. I've never seen
it was
grade that
crazy,
high.
dude.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's been one that high, but I've never seen it. I was like, oh my God. He's a cheat code.
Yeah,
man. Well, people just try to find some type of a flaw with this team, with our players. But the truth is, I mean, there aren't that many. This is a complete team. And hopefully we're going to, oh man, I almost had a pick. Hopefully we'll show that tonight. I want to get to this question right here, or it's not really a question, but this comment from Carson Cute. I hope I'm saying your last name correct. But he's saying that number 40, the end looked good, and that's about it. So that's something else, right? Like whenever people are kind of breaking down matchups.
Is that the big white guy?
Yeah.
Like Josh Dobbs Jr. He's got the alopecia or whatever.
Maybe.
He's got no eye. He looks like a giant white version of Josh Dobbs. And it's frightening, actually.
Yeah, well, I mean, shoot. So he's 6'7", like 280, 290, something like that. So he's probably going to be their best pass rusher. But at the same time, when people are talking about all these matchups, you got to try to put something good in there about the other team. I've watched him a lot. He has 2 sacks this season. I don't know how many pressures, but he's not a twitchy guy. He's not a twitchy pass rusher. He's not a player that I feel like our tackles are going to struggle with at all. They don't have anybody up front that I'm like, oh man, we have to watch out for him. That's just the truth. Now, what they can do is maybe get you on some stunts, on some blitzes, but really, I mean, like none of those guys are twitchy enough for even the stunts to make any problems. Outside of, again, like unless a linebacker's coming down and then somebody might, like if somebody just busts, that would be the only realistic way. So I think this is a game that Nico should have plenty of time to work down the field, and all of our wide receivers they should be able to eat. But, what do y'all see in Arkansas's defense versus Tennessee's offense? Do y'all think that we're going to open it up some more, or will it be more of that 12 personnel, get a lead, run the daggum clock out, and let's go on back to Knoxville?
Well, I think we're going to kind of see how they try to play us first. If they want to, maybe try to stack the box or whatever. I don't know. It just depends on what Happen wants to do. I'm sure he has some stuff dialed up. I think he wants to get Nico loose. I think everybody wants to see Nico get loose. So, I expect him to try to push it down the field. Like me and Timmy G said, like they're going to have guys open down the field. We're going to have guys open all night long, I think. But kind of to your point about the defensive line, they run a stunt that I really like. I think it's effective. I think they ran it a lot against A&M. First of all, they like to blitz those linebackers up the middle, but they'll run a stunt where they'll blitz probably the Mike right at the center. They'll blitz him kind of right at the center, and then they'll have like the tackle will loop around, or actually he won't loop around. He'll kind of go and like run into the guard and kind of occupy the guard, and then they'll loop that end back around. So you got the center who's stuck with the linebacker, then the guard who's taking that tackle, then that the DN loops back inside, and they've had success getting pressure on that. But I mean, I think that's it for them now. I think it's bringing extra guys is how they'll get pressure. But we'll see. I think we have Lance Hurd back. We have John Campbell back as well. I think we should be able to protect pretty well. I mean, like I said, I mean, their pass rush does not scare you. There's not really any quick twitch. I think our guys do pretty well. If people want to try to bull rush them, I think we can kind of handle that pretty easily. So, I mean, I expect us to open it up today, man. Let's open it up. Let's see if we can, hang, 38 in the first half and, continue to play ball. Seriously, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Timmy G, man, what do you think about it? Because, we kind of talked about it back and forth, but like what are your thoughts? Do you really think that this is the game that maybe Nico could put up? And I'm not going to put a number on it, but I was thinking he might have 500 yards of total offense in this game. But like, what do you think Nico's going to do? And what do you think this offense is going to look like?
I hope you're right. I hope he does put up 500 yards of offense. That would be a great day, and that would definitely silence a lot of people for sure. But I don't know. I think we're going to do what we always do. Like Heupel's always has a very balanced attack, right? He's going to come out and he's going to run the ball, and he's going to, as soon as he sees anybody come up and try to take a bite, he's going to go right over top of you. And I think there's definitely going to be those opportunities for opening up with the passing game today. But I also think D-Samp, if we can run the ball, like this game's over, in my opinion.
Yeah.
If D-Samp has a game, like it's just wrap it up. It's done.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see what happens, man.
And that's the thing is it's always kind of tough to project. Like even if you watch film on these guys, it's tough to predict how a team's going to try to play us because our offense is just so different than what they typically see. So like it's going to be a completely different look than kind of what we're used to seeing from these guys. But I think they'll try to emulate what Oklahoma did, and we'll see. But we got to remember Oklahoma. Coach Venable said it himself. They spent like 7 months.
Exactly.
So
exactly. Yeah. I was thinking about that earlier when we were talking about this, and I was thinking about it this week that's the difference between the Oklahoma game and this game. They've had a week to prepare. Oklahoma had literal months. They planned around this game and had a pretty good plan. I mean, defensively at least. I really wish I could have. Heupel wouldn't have let off the gas just so we know how good that plan really was or wasn't.
Yeah,
but it is what it is. But yeah, no, I think you're right, Pete. That's they haven't had the kind of time. And Tennessee is just a nightmare because they're an everything team this year. The defense is good, offense is good. They can throw the ball over you. They can rush it. They can. And Heupel showed that they can actually just hold on to it and grind the damn clock down, which we've never seen that before.
Crazy.
That is crazy. But, man, but let me just say why I have such confidence this year that I haven't had in forever with this team is because in the past, when Tennessee generally played down to an opponent. Yep. You know what I mean? Like those games, you could see them that they kind of, sit back and just, we knew we should have dominated them and we didn't.
Yeah.
They haven't done
that last year.
Yeah. And that is the, that's a making of a championship kind of team. When you take every team serious and you play them all like they're big. That's why everybody's like, oh, it's a trap game. I don't think the way these guys are playing that there's such a thing as a trap.
Yeah. I don't either. I mean, and then too, coming off of a bye week, actually, I kind of feel like that Florida game next weekend could be a little bit more of a trap game. But, I've already started watching film on Florida, and I can just tell y'all right now, Florida sucks.
Well, I'll tell you right now, Florida fans ain't got that kind of confidence because I've been reading some of that stuff on Twitter, and it is amazing.
They know it's up.
It is amazing.
Florida is the worst team in the SEC that I've watched all season. They're horrible.
Wow. If there's any Florida fans watching, Heupel will do you a favor, and Billy will be gone after that. Billy's gone. UCF doesn't fire him today.
I was going to say, he might be gone tonight.
Wow.
Possibly.
Yeah, I hope not. I don't want that to happen. I want it to be the way it is when they roll in.
Yeah, man, keep him. Please keep him. Yeah, look,
Yeah,
you got to give
hold
him
on
one
to
more
him.
year.
Hold on to him.
He's doing
Give
good.
him
He ain't
one
doing
chance.
that bad. Yeah.
Keep him in here. Let's see what we got right here.
Yes,
MG
they
Wade
are.
says Mizzou is getting
Yes.
Wow.
off. They are.
Yeah.
The score might be 31-0 at halftime. I sure do hope so, man. Because it's been too much hype. You know, I feel like it's still too much hype for so many teams like Oregon. Some of these people just love Oregon. I watched them play up against a bad Michigan State team last night. You know, I went back. I was watching some of that film earlier today. I mean, I'm just not impressed. There's really only like 3 or 4 teams, honestly. Everybody else is like, you know, y'all don't have a chance versus these other teams. So, and Tennessee's definitely in that mix. And hopefully, you know, again, we come out and we prove that tonight. But yeah, I mean, I would think that we're going to be just fine. Obviously, having Lance Hurd coming back. I don't know. So what do y'all think about do y'all think that we'll see Dane Davis, or do y'all think that Larry Johnson's going to come in first? Because John Campbell's going to have to take a break. Who do y'all think comes in first? Is it still going to be Dane, or do y'all think that maybe Larry Johnson done worked himself up?
Well, I personally think it's still Dane. I know I saw a few clips of Larry, watching the film, and didn't like him. You know, it was pretty much the kind of Larry we expected, is what I saw a couple times. I mean, getting pushed down to his knees, stuff like that. So, you know,
wait a second now. Was that from last
Oklahoma? Against Oklahoma,
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, now he had a lot of good plays.
Huh?
And again, it was only like one play I saw, and I guess I took it and ran with it, you know. But
Now look, you gotta watch out. And listen, he's got a whole lot of really good plays.
He had 3
he's
that
washing down the whole D line.
Yeah, he had 3 plays. I did see 3 that he just dominated somebody. Yeah. Like it was not pretty, but But that's the thing with the young player, right? He's either going to do that or he's going to get exposed. That's just kind of the way. I think when that kid gets some reps and a little bit of time under his belt, like, look out.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. And I mean, he looks the part, that's for sure. And this actually may be a good game for him, because I mean, they don't really have any speed rushers. I think that gives pretty much all of our guys the most problems. So this could be a good one for him.
Yeah, like this should be a perfect game for the offensive line to really build even more confidence. You know what I'm saying? Something else that I had kind of touched on, I think on Monday maybe, or no, I think that was on Tuesday. Either way, we got to make sure that we're getting up to the second level, because they've got really good linebackers. I think that their linebackers are going to be the best that we've seen. I mean, maybe by far this whole season. I mean, they've got maybe 4 or 5 guys that can really do it all. Now, they're not that big, but they play it the correct way. Like, they're going to be fast. They're downhill. They're going to be able to tackle out in space. They can cover. So I think that's going to be really that's going to be one of the keys to this game, is getting up to that second level so that we can run the football, because we're going to have to be able to do that. Let me see. Where's Arkansas's run defenses? I'm going to pull this back up because I forgot what it is now. It's ranked number 21. So, and I mean, they've played against some pretty solid teams, right? I mean, they played against a couple of SEC teams. So, I think that that's real, man. So we're going to have to make sure that we can come out and run that doggone football.
That's legit. And, something I noticed from the Oklahoma game, typically when teams stop us, when they stop our rush offense, it's typically not, the front 4 or even necessarily the box. Like, sometimes it could be the linebackers, right? If we're not getting second level, but a lot of times it's the safeties. Like when teams learn how to get the safeties involved, even going back to Georgia 2022 or Georgia last year, like when teams stop us, it's getting those third level guys involved, because they don't show up pre-snap, but then post-snap they're getting in there, and so they're not really accounted for in the blocking scheme. But that's really how people have been stopping our run game. So, I don't know, what we can necessarily do about that. I mean, I guess what we did against Oklahoma, put in his belly and throw it right over their heads. That's how you beat that. I was about to say that.
RPO all day long. Like we need to put that out on film. I want to see that today. That's a big part of the reason that I think that Nico's going to ball, because I feel like Hypo, I'm sure he understands that. You got to be able to loosen, the secondary, the third level people. You got to be able to loosen that up by RPO. Make them think, okay, run. As soon as they bite up, boom, 6 points. And I think that, look, we could have done that versus OU a million times, because their safeties bit up on almost every single play.
Yeah.
I think that that's coming today.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see a whole lot of that. And, it'll be interesting if Arkansas does, even if it's for like a series or something, tries to run some sort of a 3-3-5 or what they do. Their defense is going to look a little bit different versus our offense, period. But will it be more of a true 3-3-5 or what? Like, that's my question. Maybe they go to dime. I've seen them run dime a pretty solid amount this season. Probably more than most teams up to this point. So maybe you can go dime and try to, see if that works.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And we'll run right at you,
Man, listen, I'm trying to tell you. We're going to run right down your doggone throat. You know what? Something else, too. I would love to see us do a little bit more like bunch sets, right?
Yeah.
Just because every time that we spread teams out, there's a lot of things that I don't absolutely love about it. And if teams are stopping what we like to do, then bunch it up, man. Like, bunch it up and then run some, like rub people off, especially with that tempo. That's something that I think could also be really deadly. I want to see us mix things up a little bit more today.
No, that's the evolution of Heupel's offense when he really adds in the bunch sets. Because something I've started to realize, when you spread the field the way we do, obviously it gives a clear picture to the offense because we can see kind of what coverage you're trying to show, but it also gives a clear picture to the defense because everything's so spread out. Like, I know this receiver way out here outside numbers, he's not going to cross the field and come over here and interfere with my zone. All I have is these two guys. It gives them a much easier picture. So, like you said, mixing it up, condensing, or even maybe starting wide and then shifting to a condensed, or starting condensed, shifting wide. Like, I think doing those types of things, man, could really take this to the next level. And then, nobody could ever stop us. Ever.
Yeah. Yep. That would be it. But do y'all have any more thoughts on this game before we get into our picks?
Not really.
I got
dominate. That's all I want.
Yeah, that's it. Are we doing prediction or are we doing it later?
We can go ahead and do those now.
Okay, so I'm gonna go. I've been saying.
For the game for
Yeah.
No. Last. Yeah, that was last. So I'm gonna just pull this up right here. We're gonna go through our predictions for the games that haven't already started. Actually, this A&M game, that's the only one that was on here that started at noon. So this is where we're at right now. I'm 13-8. Timmy G's actually in the lead at 14-7, but I'm starting to catch up to you. And P is at 6-7 because he missed like a week or two. So
6-7, that can't be right.
Yeah, it is, man.
I remember one of them, the Colorado, Nebraska. I was like, not so fast.
Yeah. I remember that one.
All right, so the first one that we're going to talk about today is going to be, I think this one's actually going to be pretty close, but it's going to be Auburn versus Georgia. This game is at 3:30. It's going to be in Athens, and Georgia was favored by 22 points. I don't know what it's at right now. The over-under is 52.5. I want to get y'all's thoughts on this real quick, but I've got a few notes that I want to talk about. So go ahead, P. Who you got?
Well, I think I agree. I think it's going to be closer than people think. I think Auburn's not a bad team. Similar to Arkansas, every game's been close. They could have won every game, but, they end up losing a lot of these games. Now, they're not having quarterback. The quarterback play is very poor right now, so that's the issue. So they're going to have a hard time scoring, but you know what? I think Georgia will too. So I think it's going to be an ugly game. I got Georgia winning, but it's going to be like a 17-9 type of deal. It's going to be an ugly game.
Timmy G?
I'm taking Georgia. I just think Kirby's like, man, I can only imagine what he's been putting in their ear this week. And in some ways, I think he's going to like this. I think he's going to take this and use it and try to, fire them up for future games. I think Georgia's going to be ready for him, and it's in Athens. That place can get rowdy. It's a 3:30 game. That's good for Auburn. It's not a night game because there'd be a lot of barking going on down there at 7 o'clock. Let me tell you. But yeah, no, I'm taking Georgia, man. They're not the Georgia of old. We've all talked about that all season. I think that was kind of proven last season. They did show a lot of heart coming back in that Alabama game. I got to give them credit on that. Like they were getting totally wrecked. I don't know if that was just them digging down deep and obviously having a great plan, or if some of that was also DeBoer taking his foot off the gas, thinking that he had it. Maybe I think a little bit of both. But, I'm taking Georgia. I think Georgia's going to win, and I could see them doing 22 if they come out and play like they did in the second half versus Alabama. But Auburn just has voodoo magic sometimes, man. It would. But no, I'll take the Bulldogs.
Okay. So I got a couple of stats for y'all right now. Auburn's offense is ranked number 23rd. Georgia's defense is ranked number 23rd. Auburn's rushing is ranked number 60. Georgia's defense is ranked number 56. Auburn's passing is at 23. Georgia's pass defense is at 24. So that matchup, at least on paper, that's shocking. Auburn actually has had a good offense, but they just can't score. I think that if they could find a way to score in this game, right, just don't freaking throw stupid interceptions in critical moments. As long as they don't do that, I think that it's going to be very close. And, if you look at Georgia's offense versus Auburn's defense, it's pretty much the exact same, where everything is very, very close. The only real edge in this game is going to go to Auburn's defense, Auburn's rushing defense, which is ranked number 47, versus Georgia's rushing offense, which is ranked 100. So I think that this game could be a lot closer than people are thinking. 22 points, I don't care where it's at. I mean, it's in Athens, whatever. I think that Georgia they just are who they are. I think that Auburn does keep it close. But I am going to go ahead and take Georgia to win, just because from top to bottom, they do have the much, much better team, the much better roster. But man, Hugh Freeze, he always gets up to play against them dogs. So I will go on ahead and reluctantly take Georgia. All right, so let's go on to the next one right here. This is another 3:30 game. This is going to be Ole Miss versus South Carolina. The game is going to be at South Carolina, and Ole Miss is actually favored by 9.5 points. The over-under is 53.5. Who do you got on this one, P?
Man, this is one I meant to be able to watch film on both these teams. I didn't get around to really doing it. But just kind of based off what I've seen this year live, this game can go a million different ways, honestly. You look at South Carolina's past their pass rush. I mean, it's pretty elite right now. They got some guys that can really go up front. You have to think that matches up with what Ole Miss likes to do. And then I think our D-line in general, I think they can stop the run too. I think they're pretty good on defense. And then, but what are they really on offense? I'm still not really sure about that. So I'm going to pick this game's at USC, Ole Miss 9.5. I got Ole Miss winning. I think they win. I think they put up some points. I can see this one being, like a 30, 35, 38, maybe to like a 17, like 35-17. So I think Ole Miss covers in this one.
All right. Timmy G?
Let me ask you this: Is the
Sellers
South Carolina quarterback? Is it Sellers?
I think he's supposed to be playing. Yeah.
Okay. Just for whatever reason, I'm going to take South Carolina.
Okay, Timmy G. You know what? You are a smart man. You know that. I mean, you are a gentleman. And you are a scholar. I feel the exact same. I'm taking South Carolina too. Just because, honestly speaking, y'all, look, I actually said this. Who was they playing, P? I think you might have been with me watching that when they was playing somebody. And I said, man, that D-line is serious.
Yes.
I think that's the only D-line that I've seen. And I've watched a ton of film. I've seen a whole bunch of different teams that looks anything like ours, where they're just attacking that daggum line of scrimmage, just like attack.
And the Ole Miss has a problem at offensive line. That's why I'm not only that. Yeah, Bryce, is it Bryce Williams, or was that the Gamecock Stadium?
Bryce, it's not Bryce Denny. I don't know what the name. I don't know what it's called.
That place is legit. When they get going down there, it's legit. Once again, if that was a night game, I'd really feel better. I still think South Carolina can win this one. I don't think Ole Miss is blowing anything out in this. I could be wrong. Look, I hate both these coaches. So either way, I'll win. Doesn't matter. I'll win either way.
Yeah. I definitely think that South Carolina just matches up well. I think that they're actually, and I mean, I'm shocked, but they kind of feel like one of those sleeper teams right now. I don't know who all they have left on their schedule, but I would think that they're going to play close versus everybody. But yeah, I have them actually beating Ole Miss. Ole Miss goes down in back-to-back weekends. Let's go on to the next one. So this right here at 4:15, we've got Alabama versus Vandy. The game is going to be in Nashville. Alabama's favored by 22.5 points. The over/under is 53.5. P, who you got in this one?
This is another one I could see going. Obviously I got Bama winning this one, but I could see it being close, but I could also see it being a blowout. Vandy has a nice little offense, that triple option. It's one of those deals where you really have to prepare for it, and so How prepared is Bama for this game? We know if it was Nick Saban as their coach, they'd be well prepared. How are they going to be under Kellen DeBoer? We'll see. Had a physical matchup last week against Georgia. Game came down to the wire. So is there any hangover from that game? I'm gonna say no. I think Bama wins big. I think ever since that guy for Vandy came out and said what he said about Bama, you're next. I think I'm taking that personal. I think I'm taking that personal ever since. Yeah, I mean, yeah, and hey, and I knew that guy personally. I mean, I can't believe he freaking said something like that. But I think Bama wins big here. I'm gonna go like they're gonna definitely cover. I got them putting up like 50, and Vandy may not score a point.
Dude, that is wild. How do you do that? How do you, as a Vandy, look, that's crazy.
And they had just beaten UConn, I think, and then he comes out and says, "Bama, you're next." After a barn burner versus UConn,
bro, that is just wild.
Tripping. He was definitely tripping when he did that.
Yeah. Well, I'm not on his side. I'm not on that fan side. I think Vandy. Look, this could be a letdown game for Bama. I mean, that's coming off an emotional win like that at home, and they've been riding high all week, and then they come in. Unfortunately, it's not like Vandy's stadium is going to pose any threat to them. The crowd's not going to be into it. That's not going to be a factor. They just got too many athletes, but could Vandy sneak up on them and hopefully make it a game? God, I hope so. I really do. But I think Alabama. I think they like the amount of 5 stars and talent they have stacks is so hard to deal with when you get against an Alabama or a Georgia just for that reason, man. They've got guys all over the place. But I'll take Alabama.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Bama too, but I do kind of feel like Vandy will make this a little bit closer, especially earlier in this game than people might think. 22.5. I mean, if I was going to put money on it, I think I might take Vandy with those points. You know what I mean? But, yeah, I'm definitely going to take Alabama to win this game. Now, the next one, this is a big one at 7:45. The Florida Gators versus the Central Florida Knights. Are they the Black Knights or are they just the Knights? Are they the Golden Knights? I don't know. I don't know if anybody knows. So, Central Florida, they're actually favored by 2 points in the Swamp. Over under 61.5. Now, this game could have some major implications for our game next week because if Florida loses, man, I mean, they might come out next weekend with some interim coach and maybe play with a little bit more spark. Maybe they pack it all the way in, but we got to watch this one closely, kind of flip back and forth from this one to our game. But, Pete, who do you got?
Well, it's another one I haven't watched a ton of either of these teams. So it's tough for me to really make a good call on this one, but just based off what I saw last week, I mean, Colorado really took it to UCF. A team was supposed to be able to run the ball. I don't think they ran the ball well against Colorado. I think Florida, I mean, I know you watched the film on them, but I do think they still probably have some decent talent on that roster at least.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough for me to pick UCF just going based purely off of how they looked last week against a Colorado team that I don't think is obviously that physical in the trenches. I mean, I got to expect Florida to be much more physical on both sides of the ball, both sides of the line of scrimmage than that Colorado team. So I got to pick Florida in this one, but I think it might be, kind of a close game. We'll go like a 28 to, 24 type game, 28-21, something like that. Close game, but Florida wins it.
Okay. Timmy G?
I don't know why. It's just a feeling. I don't know enough about this to really make any sort of educated guess or bet, but I'm going to take UCF. I've seen them play a little bit. They seem like they're a pretty good team, and definitely Florida has a lot of issues going on right now, and I just wonder how they're going to come out in this game. If they lose, I'm with you. I don't know if Billy will make it till Knoxville. I hope he does. But, this will be interesting. I think this might be a pretty good game.
Yeah. I don't know either. Like, I was waiting on y'all to kind of go through and hear what y'all had to say. I really just don't know. And, it's crazy that we've gotten to this point where, Central Florida could possibly end up beating Florida in the Swamp. It would be so hard for me to believe that Florida's going to lose to this team, especially, like Pete said, they just lost to the daggone Buffs, man. I mean, it's definitely levels to it. Even though Florida looks horrible, it's hard for me to think that they're going to lose to Central Florida. But if they do, then Napier is gone 100%. So I am going to take Florida in this one. Now we've got at 10:30 Miami versus Cal. The game is at Cal Berkeley, and Miami's favored by 10. The over/under is 53.5. College Game Day was at Cal for this, and now it's like they're showing Georgia. All those fans out there copying the daggone Vol walk, they don't even do it right. It's all cramped all up. It don't even look right. But
they're terrible.
See who you got in this one.
So really, haven't seen a ton of Cal, so don't really know much about them at all. But I have seen a little bit of Miami. I think coming off that game against Virginia Tech last week, I mean, Miami, man, they're a great team, especially on paper, man. They got a good offensive line. They got a good running back. They got probably a Heisman-winning quarterback right now. They got some good receivers as well. I think they're a good team. I think they have good guys on defense. I think for them, they're a very, I guess, volatile team. They can be very, very good one day, but they can be very not good one day. I think there's a lot of margin there. But I think overall this is a good team. Coming off what happened last week, I think they'll be ready to play. My only concern for them is coming all the way from down in South Florida. You're heading West Coast. You got a 10:30 game. I mean, what type of jet lag or how is that going to impact their bodies? Are they going to be ready to play at that hour? I can see them maybe starting slow or something like that. But I think Miami wins this one. I think they probably cover. I'll go Miami, probably 34-21, Miami.
All right. So, Timmy G, what you got?
I'm going to go out on a limb here. It's just a feeling. I don't know why, and I'm probably wrong. But I made a couple picks this year. If I would have went with that feeling, I would have had more on the win column. I'm going to take Cal. Don't ask me why. I can't explain it. But I woke up this morning and I don't know. I chose violence. I chose Cal. So I'm going Cal for no reason other than it's just a feeling I got, man. We'll see what happens. I think Virginia Tech got hosed in that game. Let me just say that too. If there's anybody watching sees this, it's like Virginia Tech got robbed. That was one of the biggest BS calls I've ever seen. Miami should already have one loss over there in the loss column, but it is what it is. Let's see what happens with Cal. Let's see if this team's real. Hope it's a good game.
Yeah, I kind of have a feeling that it's going to be close too, man. I don't know why, because Miami should be able to just really smack Cal, but I do kind of feel like it's going to be close. But really, I mean, I don't know how you stop Cam Ward. I don't know if there's a way to stop him, really. I mean, just outside of maybe getting some interceptions and then scoring off of those interceptions, because he'll probably throw one, maybe even two in this game. He's also going to throw for like 400 yards. You know what I'm saying? 400 plus. So I'm just because I have confidence in Cam Ward, I'm going to pick Miami to pull this one off. Now let's go on to the final game right here. Our Volunteers at 7:30 versus the Arkansas Razorbacks. We know that this game is going to be in Fayetteville, and currently this might have gone up, but Tennessee was favored by 13.5. Over under is 56.5. P, go ahead and tell us why the Vols are going to roll in this one.
Well, I mean, I think the Vols is a better team. I think you look at our defensive line. I think we really people have been taking note of it, but I think this will be a game where we really say, yeah, I mean, this is really who we are. You know what I'm saying? It's not just a banged up OU team or just an overrated NC State team. Like, this is who we are. It doesn't matter who we're playing, where we're playing them. I think we're going to see these guys show up today. I think we'll get some more sacks. I don't know what our sack, what our highest sack total is so far this year for one game. But I think we're going to surpass that in this one.
I think it's 3.
Mobile quarterback. Get 3, so I think we get at least 4. And I think James Pierce finally gets on the board today. I think he gets him 1, maybe 2, because we know he gets his in bunches. I think we'll get a couple turnovers today. Right now, this quarterback's 5 touchdowns for 5 interceptions. I think we see that interception kind of start to creep above the touchdown today. I think we'll see about 8 or 9 interceptions by the time this game's over. That touchdown line stays at 5 for him. I mean, I think we're going to really dominate on defense. I think our offense will get going. It may be some tough sledding at first, maybe, but maybe not. I mean, Heupel's had a freaking bye week. Okay, let's not forget this is Josh Heupel. He knows how to draw them up, dial them up, and don't be surprised if we have guys running wide open early and we jump out like we did in 2022 a lot. 2021, it's 21-28-0 first quarter type deal. And people say, whoa, and we just kind of keep it rolling. So I got the Vols winning big. I'm gonna go final score for me 45-6 I got them getting the field goal maybe before half and maybe another field goal late, 45-6 balls.
So let me also ask you this, because so you think Tennessee's going to get what, 3 to 4 picks in this game? Because okay, 3 to 4. Okay, I like it. I like it
because the way this guy, I mean, he'll throw it up. You know what I mean? Like he will scramble and he'll throw it up.
He will definitely.
I think we'll get pressure to him. He's going to be getting rocked out there. Yeah, I think he'll throw 3 to 4. Hey, will he finish the game? Is the big question.
Yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing. That's one of my big, and not to try to put injury on anybody.
Oh yeah,
but it's more of, will he, have the will he have the will to want to keep on playing? Because I think that Tennessee might make him quit. But Timmy G, what do you think about this one, man?
Ooh, we're going bold. I like it. Look, I'm taking Tennessee. That's obvious. Looking at this, it's not good when your quarterback's touchdowns meet his interceptions. That's not a good sign. I think our defense is legit. I think they are going to turn the ball over, and turn the ball over against us is not going to be a good thing. We need to limit turnovers and get off to a good start. No false start penalties. Don't let the noise bother you. Get in there and handle business. As far as score goes, I'm not going quite as bold as P with the what did you say, 45 what?
45 to 6.
45 to 6.
Yes, sir.
I do think Tennessee breaks into the 40s. Okay. I'll screw it. 48-13. There we go. Why not?
Okay.
I love it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So for me, I think we kind of touched on all of our thoughts. First and foremost, man, like whenever I look at Arkansas's defense, I see a really, really good defense, but I just don't think that they've got the scheme, or they haven't had the time to scheme up versus this sort of an offense. And, I think that Tennessee is going to be able to run the ball, right? I think that we'll probably go for close to about like $150. Maybe more, just kind of based off of how this whole game goes. Will we be more run heavy, or will we let the pass game open up? I feel like we're going to open up the passing game a lot more. I think Nico, I'm going to be bold with this. I think that Nico throws for over 400 yards through the air. And I'm going to say that he's going to get at least 70 yards rushing. I think that he's going to use all of his tools, right? Because I think, look, read option, all that type of stuff. I just think that we're going to put as much on film as we can in this game, because we've been holding on to too much. So I think that we put it all out there. I'm going to say the Bruce scores. Who else hasn't scored? Brazel. I think Brazel's going to score. I think we might have 3 or maybe even 4 different wide receivers score in this game. I think it's going to be absolutely dominant. I think that we will slow down Taylor Green. I don't know if we'll be able to shut him down completely. I think that they'll, maybe have a few plays here and there that they drew up. Bobby P is a great offensive coordinator, so he's going to have something ready. But I just think outside of those couple of plays that are going to be, kind of like gadget trick play type of things, Tennessee should be dominant, throughout the entire game on defense. Several sacks, like we all just touched on. I think some turnovers. Man, I don't know about 3 to 4 picks, but I would not be surprised if we do have 3 to 4 turnovers total in this game. So, yeah, I've got Tennessee putting up 47 points. I'm going to go 47-3 in favor of my Volunteers.
47.
Okay, 47-3. Okay, hey, look, 47 off of a safety, man. Come on. Come on, baby. Hey, so look, balls roll big in this one. So everybody, y'all just chill out for the next few hours. We got a lot of good games coming up here at 3:30. We're going to catch the second half of this A&M game. Watch them keep on putting on Mizzou.
Stand on business. That's right.
Yeah, you doggone right. So listen, y'all, appreciate it so much. And we will see y'all in the post-game show. Please make sure to like and subscribe on y'all way on up out the door. Thank y'all so much. Peace.